introduce myself. Oops.
Good morning. I would like to call today's meeting of the State of Nevada Board of Examiners for May 14th, 2019 to order. Could I ask staff, the clerk, to take roll, please?
Good morning. Governor Sisolak.
Here.
Attorney General Ford.
Here.
Secretary Sagaski. Here. Let the record reflect we do have a quorum.
We have a total complete quorum. You're absolutely right. This is the first time set aside for public comment. Anyone wishing to address the board on any item on today's agenda, items on the agenda, please step forward, identify yourself for the record, and comments will be limited to 3 minutes. Do we have anyone in Las Vegas?
We do not.
2019 minutes. We have a motion on the floor. Any discussion on the motion? Seeing and hearing none, all in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Any opposed? Motion passes. Item number 4, review and consideration of victims of crime appeal.
Good morning, Governor, members of the board. Item number 4 is a victims of crime appeal. NRS 217 regulates the compensation for certain victims of criminal acts. Victims apply to the program and a determination is made as to whether or not the victim is entitled to compensation from the program. A victim whose claims are denied can appeal to a hearings officer or have their claims reconsidered. The victim or the clerk of the Board of Examiners may appeal the decision to the hearings officer to an appeals officer. Both the hearings officer and appeals officer process are under the jurisdiction of the Department of Administration. Under the appeals officer's decision, NRS 217-117 subsection 3 allows the applicant or the clerk of the Board of Examiners to appeal the decision of the hearings officer to the Board of Examiners. The Board of Examiners can render a decision in the case or hold a hearing on the matter. The item for consideration today is a review of the record of an appeals officer decision of an appeal by applicant Veronica Nixon. Ms. Nixon was notified of the meeting today. Within 15 days of today's hearing, the board shall render its decision on the case. The board may affirm, modify, or reverse the decision. Representatives from the Victims of Crime Program are available to answer any questions you may have.
Okay, I need a legal opinion here. Who goes first? The appellant? Is the appellant here? Is the appellant in Las Vegas?
No, sir.
So I'm going to ask one more time. Is the appellant in Carson City? Okay, Counselor.
Deputy Attorney General Greg
right
Ott.
next to me here. So. Your boss.
Exactly, I better be right. So this is the board has 3 options. It can either set this matter for a further hearing, or it can decide today whether it should reverse the decision, uphold the decision. So the appellant has been noticed to be here today, but does not have to appear. If you wish to have a future hearing on the matter with the appellant present, that is within your discretion.
Yeah, no, I'm not in favor of delaying this and having another hearing. Do we have, what is the sense of the board?
Mr. Chair, may I?
Certainly, please.
In my estimation, having reviewed the record, it appears as though some fraudulent materials were presented relative to receipts and whatnot, indicating that the monies requested should not be granted, and I believe that was the decision of the hearing officer. I would lean in favor of affirming the appeals officer's decision in that regard.
So we would be upholding the decision, correct?
Correct.
Correct. Do we have any discussion on that? I agree with you completely. Okay.
So moved.
We have a motion on the floor. Any discussion on the motion? Hearing, seeing none. All in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Any opposed?
Requests for 3 vehicles in this agenda item. The first request is from the Colorado River Commission to purchase 1 replacement vehicle for $71,034. The vehicle being replaced has met the age and mileage requirements in SAM. $30,002 was funded in the agency's legislatively approved budget, and the remaining $41,032 will be paid using reserves. The second request is from the Department of Conservation and Natural Resources Sagebrush Ecosystem Technical Team to purchase a replacement vehicle for $2,500. The vehicle being replaced has met the age and mileage requirements in SAM. The purchase will be funded from realized savings. The third request is from the Department of Public Safety, Capitol Police, to purchase 1 new vehicle for $1,500. The vehicle will be purchased using realized savings.
C, truck. Who's here from CRC? They must not want the truck. You in Las Vegas? Okay.
Hi, this is Bob Reese, Assistant Director of Engineering Operations for the Colorado River Commission.
And Gail Benton with Colorado River Commission, Senior Accountant.
Okay, my questions are a couple. First off, and I got the little, after I asked my questions, I appreciate Director Brown got me answers to the questions, inquiries I had. I was concerned with one of you to put on all this extra equipment that apparently you're saying couldn't be done by anybody at the same price in Nevada?
Go ahead.
Typically in the past.
If you could identify yourself for the record,
sorry.
please.
Oh, sorry. Gail Benton, Colorado River Commission, Senior Accountant. The $1,000 fee relates to having the truck sent to California from Reno in order to do the build out. The quote that we received includes that $1,000 transportation fee and the out-of-state permit in order to do that.
No, I understand that the quote includes the years. And I am well aware of the fact that you oftentimes use out-of-state vendors, which always bothered me. It didn't seem like you gave the priority to looking for Nevada companies. And I want to know if this is another case of that.
No, in this instance, we actually did receive 3 quotes, 2 from Las Vegas, and then 1 from the vendor that we decided to go with. One of the quotes was substantially higher than we were quoted, and one was slightly lower. But the vendor that we had used in the past, and they were the originators of the specs for the build out.
So let me understand. The one that we've used in the past is the one in California,
Yes,
and they were not the lowest bidder.
they were not the lowest bidder. They were in the middle. We had 3 quotes. They were the middle bid.
That is troubling to me. Was the other company that was the lowest bidder in Nevada?
Yes, they were.
To Las Vegas?
We've used them in the past. They were the originator of the specs for the build out. We attempted to try to find the appropriate vehicle type or truck type in Las Vegas. They did not have the proper wheelbase and some other issues. So we went with the vendor in Reno. And since we had worked with this build out contractor in the past, we selected them to go ahead and move forward or potentially move forward with the build out for the purchase of the truck in Reno.
And my concern isn't the company in Reno. My concern is the California company. Because you've used them in the past, I don't know why you would continue to use them if they're not the lowest bidder, because they originated the specs that are now our specs. Why would you not? How much lower is the other bidder?
Approximately $1,000, maybe.
And then there's another 1,000 in shipping?
No, the difference between the lowest and the one we selected is approximately 1,000.
Which includes the $1,000 that we're paying for shipping.
Correct.
So the bid for the renovation or the additions of the truck is the same? Not counting the shipping?
No, both the one that we selected includes the $1,000. So in total, the difference between the one we selected and the lower one, it's approximately $1,000.
I'm sorry, but and this is not the first time I've had this with CRC, and I'm really disappointed. I am not in favor of using an out-of-state company that provides a higher bid than a Nevada company. I don't know where my colleagues are.
If I may interject here, Governor, this is Bob Reese, Assistant Director of Engineering and Operations. The other bidder had a different specifications for the utility bed, and that was one of the reasons in picking this particular vendor was as. So it's very important for us to have the appropriate cargo space that can equip that type of equipment and also secure it.
Okay, that is not what your colleague just said. She said it was that they put out the bid and the bids were different. She never said that the specifications were different. Now we're kind of changing the story. So I want to hold this one and bring it back for some accurate, and I'm specifying accurate information because I'm troubled how this was handled, okay?
Very good.
Okay.
Okay, do we need a motion to hold that one?
You don't need a motion, Deputy Attorney General Gregot. You would be approving, well, assuming that you approve the other 2, you just approve those other 2 in the motion to approve this item.
Okay. Well, I don't know what they're going to do with the other two. Good morning. Yours isn't going to be anything like the last one.
Good morning.
Good morning. I just had one question on this one. I know you were looking for a sedan, but you took a truck, right?
This actually is replacing a Suburban, for the record, Kelly Williams, Department of Conservation Natural Resources. It's replacing a 1998 Suburban they're currently using, and so they need something of equivalent size to carry 5 team members for the Sagebrush Ecosystem Technical Team. So they were looking for a truck to begin with, or another Suburban, if possible.
I'm sorry, I'm confusing, because it says it was the vehicle's replacing Illumina. That's, am I in the wrong one? It's in the correction binder, yeah. Oh, this is conservation, I apologize. I don't have any questions on yours.
Oh, good.
You got off the hook. Do my colleagues have any questions on yours? No. Okay,
Thank you.
I'm good with that one. See how easy that was? Thank you. Corrections.
That item was withdrawn.
Oh, okay. Got it. Okay, so do I have a motion to hold?
No, we're just going to approve, just approve.
What about DPS?
There's one more item
Oh,
on
there's
this.
one more. Okay, I apologize.
Public Safety, Capitol Police.
Capitol Police. There's one not on. Trucks, not 3?
So the current Deputy Attorney General Greg Ott, so the current agenda has 3 items: the Colorado River Commission, the DCNR, and then the DPS.
Okay, so the other one, we can't hear. It's not on the agenda.
Correct.
Okay, is that why it's withdrawn? Okay, hi.
Good morning. Charlene Bogle, Department of Public Safety, for the record.
Okay.
In reference to the Capitol Police vehicle, it's being purchased from the Nevada Highway Patrol. It
Is this the replacing the Lumina? No.
No. This is a Crown Victoria that's being purchased from Nevada Highway Patrol.
Oh, that's right, the Crown
for-
Victoria. Yeah.
As a parole vehicle in Las Vegas.
Okay. Counselor, what do you want me to make the motion on this one? White items withdrawn. The Colorado River Commission one we're bringing back. And the other 2 we're approving?
Correct. The motion would be to approve the DCNR and the DPS items, not the CRC item.
Okay. We have a motion. Any discussion? Seeing none. All in favor signify by saying aye. 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 Any opposed? Motion passes. Okay. Back on track. Item number 6. Authorization to contract with a current and/or former state employee.
So item 6 includes 4 requests to contract with current or former employees pursuant to NRS 333-705 subsection 1. The first request is from the Department of Corrections to contract with 2 current employees to deliver packages to inmates through September 2019, and these deliveries will occur off hours. The second request is from the Department of Public Safety, Division of Parole and Probation, to contract with a current employee to provide effective practices and community supervision training to staff. There is a revision needed for this agenda item. The agenda states that this item is related to agenda item number 8, contract 26, contract number 21714. This request is actually related to agenda item 10, clerk of the board contracts, contract number 36, contract number 21626. The third request is from the Department of Taxation to contract with a former employee to assist in the review and evaluation of critical application data to create documents intended for public disclosure as introduced in the amendment to SB 32 through June 30th, 2019. This request is retroactive. The final request is from the Department of Transportation to contract with a former employee. The CA Group has hired a former employee and plans to utilize this individual on the I-15 South National Environmental Policy Act reevaluation project to provide alternatives analysis and conceptual design services. Representatives from the departments are available to answer any questions the board may have.
Okay. Who wants to come on up? I've got questions, so pull up a chair. Yeah. Okay. Let me understand how this works. Inmates can order something from this catalog, and they can order anything. They can order food, they can order TVs, they can order what have you. They pay for it out of their account, and it's delivered by an employee who gets a commission for every package that they deliver. Is that right?
Good morning, John Barrowman, Department of Corrections. I appreciate the opportunity to speak with this board about this matter with Keith to provide. This is where the inmate could make purchases like batteries, Cinnabons, smock ramen, those types of things that you would normally see in a convenience store. And they are able to buy that as commissary. And we have store staff that are part of NDOC employees that would, in most cases, the inmate would come to the window and pick up their packages or their commissary that they've purchased and bring that back to their housing unit. A separate program, also through the same vendor, but a separate program, is the package program. And that's where the inmate or the family and friends could buy items for the inmate and receive those as a separate package. That package is delivered to a storage unit outside of the facility, and it is up to the vendor to provide the delivery to the individual inmate. We do not use NDOC employees through the commissary program to deliver these packages. In this case, the vendor would go, and because they've passed the NDOC background, the vendor exclusively hires NDOC employees to complete the delivery of these packages. But they are not being made on NDOC employee time. They are considered independent contractors directly with the vendor, and the vendor does pay those employees $5 per package to deliver those packages off shift to the individual inmates. So the difference would be commissary is through the windows provided by NDOC employees, and the secure pack is provided as a contract from the vendor to a contracted employee to off hours, off shift, go ahead and deliver those individual packages to the individual inmates for $5 a package.
Okay, so it's not foodstuffs. There's no food.
They are, John Barrowman, Department of Corrections. It is a different type of food, so it could be a large diet that NDOC provides, and so they could order special religious meals. They could provide or order unusual or slightly different menu items through this package program, but it is not the primary commissary that's provided through the NDOC commissary program.
Okay, so the inmate or the family or whomever would pay out of this account, and they'd add on, if it was $100, they'd add on $5, and they'd be charged $105. $5 goes to the employee, and the rest goes to the vendor.
Yes. Now, just to be transparent in this,
I appreciate the transparency.
Yeah. The commissary program does charge an overhead. It makes a profit, and that profit goes to the inmate welfare account where it is used for the benefit of all inmates. Mm-hmm. That could be the indigent funds. It could be the legal support to the secure package program. So the profit margin is still paid to the inmate welfare account, but the $5 delivery fee is paid independently to the individual contractor.
And how much is that profit margin?
It's around 22%.
22%
Yes.
is paid off the inmate's account that goes into this fund?
Yes, that's correct.
Wow. Okay, have we bid this out for other companies, or is that our fee, 22%, or how does?
Thank you. John Barrowman, Department of Corrections. We did go through an extensive RFP process. This is initially in 2010. It was a multi-state NASPO contract where multiple states were trying to set up a program, and multiple states did actually participate in the awarding of this contract. NDOC contract was, and therefore in exchange for that larger investment of capital by the vendor, we did go ahead and extend the duration of the contract. It expires in 2022. And yes, we did do competitive bidding for all vendors that we're interested in applying for this multi-state effort.
Okay, and can you give me an approximate, how many packages does the employee deliver in a shift or in a day?
Thank you. John Barman, Department of Corrections. So if we look at, and I should qualify a little bit more information just to make sure that we're all moving in the same direction on this. When the vendor has to hire a independent contractor to deliver these packages, it's all great when the system works perfectly, but when we have employee turnover, it takes a while for this vendor to secure a new employee to continue with the deliveries. And so we did find in the case of the camps, the rural camps, that there was oftentimes a disruption in the delivery of the package. Pursued increasing the FTE for the commissary program from a half FTE to a full-time FTE. This has helped substantially with recruitment and retention and improvement of the commissary program, but they did have some 2018. We discovered that the use of the independent contractors were not compliant with coming to this board and asking for authorization to contract with a current NDOC employee. So in July of last year, actually it was August of last year, the Board of Examination in the next month. But in that evaluation, what we determined, because of the break in service out at the rural camps, we evaluated the capacity and we found that we could go ahead and have the package program delivered through the commissary staff at the rural camps where they had the capacity, and they would no longer go and deliver to the individual inmates. Instead, it would be received through the standard commissary deliveries, and it would be distributed to the inmates through the standard commissary service window. And so in the case of the rural camps, we are providing the package delivery to the inmates through commissary, thereby only directed to the inmate welfare account in order to support that delivery. So in the case of the major institutions, we still have that independent contractor doing those independent deliveries. In SFY 2021, we have asked for additional staff. That was in the governor's recommended budget, and it was approved by the money committees last night, in the hearing last night, to go ahead and augment the commissary staff. And so we would roll out that final program in 2021 where all packages would be going through the commissary program through normal delivery channels.
Okay, and my question was, how many do they deliver a day? Sorry.
Thank you. I apologize. Obviously, with the change in the rural camps, it's diminished over the last year because we're now doing it through commissary, but the remaining major institutions are delivering about.
And there's how many people doing this?
I believe that we are sitting right around 14 in total.
Okay, and where is the package inspected that comes from this company?
Thank you, John Barman, Department of Corrections. Because we have this exclusive agreement with the Keefe to provide this service, and they are the parent company of the Access Secure Pack, they have been vetted for. So the items that go into the box are already through a secured vendor, put inside this shipping container, which is secured, and therefore each box does not have to be reopened and examined as it enters the institution.
I thought that's what you were going to say. So this secured is a cardboard box that some company put the product in there, send it to an inmate, and we assume that there's no contraband in that box.
John Barman, is in order to avoid the suggestion that somehow we are tampering with their merchandise or stealing or theft or loss or whatever. We want that transaction to be between the inmate and the package vendor. However, we do cell searches in order to make sure that the stuff that they have inside their cell is still compliant with what was allowable.
I'm a little surprised. I get a box, it gets x-rayed, and I can't have my own boxes, but they can send, and that comes from my daughters or my wife. Somebody can send them something if it comes from the secure vendor and nobody x-rays the box, nobody.
Thank you, John Barman.
Drug sniffs the box. Nobody.
I understand. We don't let anybody send anything into
No,
the
I get
inmate.
that.
The vendor has gone through substantial security scrutiny. They have security protocols in place. Their controls are essentially an extension of NDOC institution. They're a national company, and they have met the national standards in order to be able to participate in that program.
Well, I don't want to hold up this, but you're the law enforcement guy, so.
I'll defer to the department on that.
Okay, if you could have, I guess, a director get with me offline. I mean, the whole thing, I just would think that there's a potential for contraband to come in. I know how tough it is to get that stuff under control, and we've got a problem with contraband getting in. And if this is maybe a little bit of a loophole. Okay, one thing more, I'll go ahead and approve these. I'm okay, but what do you feel?
Thank you, Governor, appreciate it. And thank you so much. I've been hearing about this, and we have rate at least. I thought that that was one of the things that we could do, was at least have them go through an X-ray machine just to make sure there's nothing in there that, and I didn't think that was an invasion of privacy. I thought that was something that we had talked about, but we're not doing that. Thank you.
John Barham, Department of Corrections. I'll reaffirm with staff to see if we're doing any type of inspection. I agree we could X-ray those things without being considered an invasion of privacy. I just wanted to clarify that we are not opening the packages. To my knowledge, we are not opening the packages and inspecting the contents of those packages.
If we can get the director to get back to all of us, just memo us or something on how it's being done, because it is a little bit of a security question there. Seeing none, all in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Any opposed? Motion passes. Okay, thank you. Item number 7. Right? 6B, sorry. Department of Public Safety, Division of Parole and Probation. Good morning. Do you want us to tell us a little bit about what you're asking for? Please, somebody?
Sue Sieber, Department of Public Safety, Parole and Probation, Administrative Service Officer. This contract, we put out a bid. We have, in the last biennium, implemented EPICS, which is the effective practice in community supervision. And it's a change in the way that we actually give us the training. We felt that as the resistance to the change in the environment, we put out a bid to have a workshop for people to come in and explain to all of our sworn positions what the benefit is of the EPICS in general and where the recidivism would go and how this would benefit us as a whole. So we put out a bid on March 4th to see who could come in and give us workshops. We planned 3 in the north and 6 in the south to come talk to every sworn officer about the benefits of EPICS and how it would benefit us in the future. Of those 3 bids, Dr. Salisbury came in, she was the lowest bid. Although she's an current employee of UNLV, she will be on her off time. This is a side business that she has.
Okay, so she's the lowest bid at $250 an hour.
Yes, the total contract.
Okay. What do you mean the total contract?
So the total contract for the all the work session, the 3 and the 9 workshops that she's holding, the total bid was $13,978 for total,
Okay.
to hold all of the classes that we
Okay,
needed.
and has this been approved by NSHE? Because I know I spent 10 years there as well. When they're seeking part-time employment, it has to come through the college, was the university, that was approved?
I don't know about that. We just put the bid out. We went to the 3 bids that came back were from the different people that are involved in EPICS as a whole statewide or nationwide. So I don't know if she went through NICHE, or I don't know if she went through them or not. We just
Well,
have Cincinnati and the Portland State.
but she uses her UNLV phone number and email address. So somebody's going to communicate with her when she's at UNLV, on UNLV time. That's why I'm asking you, the university put procedures in place to make sure that employees can't be conducting business while they're on university time.
Sorry. I didn't.
She does have her own business, Salisbury Consulting.
Right, that's what I'm saying. I thought she bid under her Salisbury Consulting LLC.
And my question is, she uses the all the 895 exchanges are UNLV exchanges. When it says at unlv.edu, that's a UNLV email address. So she's using UNLV resources. That's what my question is.
Charlene Bogle, Department of Public Safety, for the record. The information that we have for the contract is Salisbury Consulting. That's, as I understand it, the contract is only under Salisbury Consulting, and I understood that the contact was through her personal number and her personal email, but I certainly can research that.
Mr. Chair, if I may.
Yes.
As I'm reviewing the information here, I wonder if it may just be that she included this as part of the biography component.
I don't know.
For information. Yeah,
Did she submit this, or did you pull this off a website?
We pulled it off the website.
Off her company website?
Yes, I believe it was her Salisbury Consulting, and also, I apologize. I can't remember.
UNLV. Did you pull this off the UNLV Law School website? Aaron Ford, for the record.
It's
is a different phone number that is, it's a 503 number actually, that is listed for Dr. Salisbury. And the address and the contractor name is in fact Salisbury Consulting, listed on a different address in Las Vegas than UNLV. So the fact that this biography is included in here and it is a copy of the bio at UNLV's website is what's causing a little confusion here. We just want to ensure that she won't be, and she sounds as though she's communicated to you that she will not be doing this work on UNLV time. But the inclusion of her bio from UNLV draws some confusion here.
Charlene Bogle, for the record. That was my error. I was trying to offer the budget office information as to why her credentials were not directly related to UNLV, showing where she had received her education.
No, and I appreciate your transparency in answering the General Ford's questions. My issue is, and I spent a lot of time at UNLV, they tightly regulate this because they had a lot of faculty spending an inordinate amount of time testifying in cases as professional expert witnesses, doing different things and using the university resources to get there, and then the university wasn't getting any compensation. So this became an issue about 10 years ago. So, but as long as she's aware of it, I'm fine.
And Mr. Chair, if I may, just for additional information, it looks like the emails back and forth between the department and Dr. Salisbury also have her email, Dr. Salisbury's emails coming from Salisbury Consulting as opposed to from UNLV. Yep. So I'm satisfied that at least at this juncture, this would be separate and apart from UNLV and not be done on UNLV time.
Okay. Do we have a motion on that one? Want to take these separately? We have a motion on item number B. Any discussion? We did one first. We did A, so let's do B. We have a motion on B. All in favor signify by saying aye. Oh, boy. Marijuana regulation and control account.
Good morning, Melanie Young for the record. This request is a retroactive request from April 22nd through June 30th for a former employee, Ms. Murphy, to work with the department. And what she did was she assisted us in helping prepare the information that we posted on the website last Friday as a result of SB 32. We will continue to utilize her services to assist, which we have a backlog in the licensing transfer request because of a staff vacancy, so we plan to use her through June 30th, 2019.
Okay, and while she's collecting PERS, but she's not making additional contribution to PERS?
No, we are using a...
She's under an LLC or something?
No, we hired her through a temporary employment service. I don't remember the name of that. That's correct.
Good to see you, Director Young. Just so that I'm clear, so you're contemplating...
Correct, yes.
Okay. Are you not anticipating any additional disclosure requirements on a going-forward basis under the new law?
Potentially. What we would be disclosing is any license changes. We plan on doing that on a monthly basis, which I think we can handle with internal staff.
Okay.
So we will only be utilizing her resources as needed,
Okay.
and we will reevaluate going forward.
Okay. All right. So SB 32 didn't provide you additional resources necessary to do this job?
No.
Okay. All right. Thank you.
Yeah, and I appreciate it, and I want to thank you for getting that stuff up on the website. I've gotten inundated with calls. It was a lot of documentation you downloaded onto that website. So do we have a motion on this one? We have a motion for approval. Any discussion? All in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Any opposed? Motion passes. Thank you. Thank you very much. Item number D, Department of Transportation.
Good morning, Governor, members of the board. We are requesting that a form work for the CA group on the I-15 NEPA reevaluation project. The employee wasn't involved with managing or handling the CA group contract, and the CA group was contracted through a competitive process with the department.
Okay. Discussion. Motion. We have a motion for approval on item number D, 6D. Any discussion? All in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Any opposed? Motion passes. Thank you. Item number 7, approval of proposed leases.
There are 10 leases.
5 and 6. So those are the only two with MDL as the lesser?
Yes.
Okay. I'm going to put a disclosure on the record. I don't know if I should abstain. One of the principals in MDL is my sister-in-law. So, counselor? I've got my counsel in the back, I think, so.
So, Deputy Attorney General Greg Ott, do you have a financial stake in the company?
No.
Do you get any sort of advantageous benefit from the company?
No.
Does the relationship with the principal?
Brendan, just a disclosure? Yeah, I'll just disclose the relationship of a sister-in-law. We have any questions on this? Any motion? We have motion approval. Any discussion? All in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Any opposed? Motion passes. Thank you. Item number 8, approval of proposed contracts.
There are 39 items in agenda item 8 for approval by the board this morning. Members have requested additional information on contract number 3 between the Secretary of State's office and the Center for Internet Security, and contract number 13 between the Department of Taxation, Marijuana Regulation and Control Account and Excella.
Okay. We have any questions in general on all of these? So, Wayne, good morning.
This is a contract for the monitoring of what are called Albert sensors, intrusion detection devices that are installed in 12 of the 17 counties. The contract itself is for those 12 counties for this monitoring. And the description that is on the contract summary is not correct. We wanted to make sure that it was on the record that this has nothing to do with voting systems, voting machines. This has everything to do with the networks that are in front or have access to the voting registration systems. The 12 of the 17 counties have purchased these intrusions of Wayne Thorley, our deputy for elections, is here to answer any further questions you might have.
Okay, do we have any questions?
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Aaron Ford, for the record. I asked for this to be pulled because I thought this was about voting machines. And so I'm that much more confused. I'll need you to give me a better description of what exactly this contract is about, what it's supposed to accomplish, and then I might have some follow-up questions, please.
Good morning. Wayne Thorley for the record, Deputy Secretary of State for Elections. This is a contract with Center for Internet Services, proposed contract to provide monitoring services for a piece of hardware. It's called an Albert sensor. It's an intrusion detection system.
Intrusion of what sort? I'm sorry. I'm probably going to interrupt you.
Cybersecurity. So it work. And it's looking to alert on certain signatures to notify if there is potential malicious efforts to gain access to a system that houses a county voter registration database.
So it's a system to protect against hacking, for example?
Yes.
Okay. And as
a number of registered voters have already received this service free of charge through the U.S. Department of Homeland Security. So the remaining 12 counties, we have purchased the sensors for them through a HAVA, Help America Vote Act cybersecurity grant that we received last year. And then we're proposing to fund this contract through another federal grant that we received through the Division of Emergency Management.
Well, it probably goes without saying, but talk to me about the efficacy of the program. You're looking to expand it from 5 to the remaining 12, but talk to me about what you've seen as the efficacy of the cybersecurity protection system.
With the, Wayne Thorley for the record, with the 5 counties that have already had this system installed?
Yes.
So that's Wayne Thorley for the record. It's that informs them of any efforts to breach their system, or if there were breaches. I have not seen those reports, but I could get that information for you.
Okay. You may not have seen the reports, but have you heard reports as to whether this system has prevented efforts at hacking in the 5 counties that are utilizing the program thus far?
Wayne Thorley for the record. Just to clarify one point, it's not a firewall, so it doesn't block traffic coming in. It just monitors and alerts on certain traffic.
It's like that commercial, I'm just a security guard, right?
But it flags and informs the counties if they believe somebody has gotten in that shouldn't have been allowed in.
How many flags have we received reports on with the 5 counties utilizing the service?
I don't have that information, but I can get that for you.
Have we received flags? Do you know that?
I do not know that.
Okay. With all due respect, I would just be interested in how we've been able to respond to those flags. Then why would we be looking at this juncture to expand this system without knowing that information?
Wayne Thorley for the record. These are sensors that have been proven to be effective in other states.
Okay.
So we're going off of the experience that other states and jurisdictions have had using these. But I can certainly get you and the other board members the information regarding the number of alerts.
So here's my suggestion. I'm going to defer to the Secretary of State, obviously. This is within her purview, and I'm going to trust her judgment on this, but I would absolutely like to have more data and statistics on how successful or unsuccessful these programs have been. I know nationwide you're indicating that nationwide this has proven to be a successful system, but I would like to know specific to our state and the 5 counties that have used it, how effective it's been at alerting, albeit not stopping, but alerting us with flags, efforts at tapping into our systems.
Absolutely, will do. Thank you, sir.
Thank you. And thank you to my deputies for being here and explaining this to the Attorney General. One of the things that we've learned over the years, I'm really appreciative of DHS. They've really been working with us a lot. We are on a regular basis with the cybersecurity issues and looking at different issues, and this is one of them that has come up and come to us that we feel very good about, that we're being very proactive, and that's what we want to. We've got a great state that has been very good with the voting, and so we want to continue that, and this was an effort that we thought would be very beneficial to us. So thank you, gentlemen. Appreciate it.
Thank you. I've got questions, and I have somebody here from tourism. Okay, I'm going to keep raising the same question that I continue to raise with tourism because I'm not understanding, I guess, your marketing.
Nebeski, Acting Director of the Department of Tourism and Cultural Affairs. Yes, it is. These two contracts, contract extensions, one for ad copy testing, the other for web usability, they are somewhat related, and essentially what they do is test the effectiveness of our domestic campaigns and media buys. To give you a sense of scale, it's our way of regulating the way we spend approximately $9 million in domestic.
I'm well aware of a lot of analytical companies in the state of Nevada, but why do we go out of state?
Well, I was not part of this evaluation committee, so I can't speak to it directly, but for each of these contracts, we had 4 applicants, including the company awarded, and one from Illinois, one from Pennsylvania, one from Washington, the other New York, Indiana, London. I think it's 2 things. One is vendors are only notified if they have registered with state purchasing, so they're only becoming that better notification, and within the correct service category also. And then the other is just the nature of the expertise within the industry. I really don't think there are that many companies who are doing this type of panel survey work.
Okay, I guess the 2 issues I've got then is, one, we're renewing a contract you've had for 3 years, that maybe there wasn't somebody 3 years ago, but there might be somebody today. And if we renew it for another 2 years, and they don't get a chance to bid for 2 more years, maybe we need to do a better job of outreach, because this isn't the first time today, I keep bringing up out-of-state companies, to reach out to Nevada companies and say, register your areas of interest. The concern I've got is, and I'm a big supporter of tourism and cultural affairs and bringing more people to Nevada, but you're competing with the Reno Convention Visitors Authority, the Las Vegas Convention and Visitors Authority, the Lake Tahoe. We're all spending money. And they're, you know, I don't know how effective it is when everybody's just kind of like shooting all over the place, as opposed to coordinate the information that you've got and the sharing of that information. Do we do sharing?
We absolutely do. We consider both of the CVA's partners, and it's the Division of Tourism's job to drive tourism in rural counties, appeal to those visitors to take a trip out into the state and to see the rest of what the state offers.
And I get that, and I got to back up on the ones that I brought up last time about all the contracts that are getting awarded to out-of-state companies to promote in other countries. And there's no quantifying of how beneficial they were. If we spent $500,000 in Argentina, or we spent, you know, $800,000 in Mexico, you know, and I know it's sometimes difficult to quantify, but maybe it can be done through surveys or something to see how effective this is.
We absolutely track our investment related to international markets, and we're working on a response. The finance office did ask us for those numbers, and so we're working on a document that will give you, you know, we expect the same return on investment.
When do you think you might have that?
I'm hoping by the end of the week. I've reached out to all of our international representation for their most recent annual reports and some of their site visitations, some of those numbers. So I expect to have all that in. I have most of it.
Yeah, and I appreciate, but I don't want the fluff stuff that comes in an annual report that tells all our prospective clients how great they are and they do this. I want the specifics that deal with the money that you're spending with them, that we spent $800,000 and they had 1,400 people come to Elko for cowboy poetry or whatever they did, you know, where we can say, look, this was a good use of our resources and this.
Marketing department, and he is able to quantify the visitor spend from each individual market and the numbers per year. So we'll be giving you all of that. There's a specific set of questions you sent. I believe there were 6, so we're responding to those.
Right. No pressure there, Carl. You got it. You know what I want, right? Okay. Okay, those are my only questions. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Appreciate it. Any other questions? No? Do I have a motion on this one? Item number 8.
Do you still have questions about item 13? I believe you indicated you were going to pull. Okay, then, yeah, that's fine.
We have a motion on number 8, all items. Any further discussion? All in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Any opposed? Motion passes.
In agenda item 9 today for approval by the board this morning. No additional information has been requested by the members.
Extra great job on this one. I didn't have any questions. Director, thank you. We have a motion on the floor. Is there any discussion on that motion? Seeing none, all in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Any opposed? Motion passes. Next item, number 10. Clerk of the Board contracts, informational item.
2019. This item is informational only. No additional information has been requested by the members.
I've got one question on the, how do we come up with, is 50,000 statutory? It is, okay. Okay, okay. That's information. Does anybody have any questions? No, okay. Item number 11, are there any reports? Department of Motor Vehicles, the Complete Streets Program. You're leaving, what did I say? What did I do? Do we have someone from DMV? Down south? No, goodbye, okay, thank you. Okay. What's it? Sure. Tricia Brown's gonna read her stuff. She's got stuff, so.
Item number 11, there are 2 informational reports under this agenda item. The first report is from the Department of Motor Vehicles on the voluntary contributions collected by counties pursuant to NRS 482.480, the Complete Streets Program, for the period from January 1st, 2019 to March 31st of 2019. During the quarter ending March 31st, the department collected $98,186 compared to $87,816 in the same period last year and $79,236 collected last quarter. Year to date, the department collected $258,324, which is a 4% increase from the same period in the prior year. 4% was from Washoe County, just over 3% was from Carson City, and just under 3% was from Douglas County. After deducting the 1% to administer the collection and distribution of contributions, the department distributed $255,740.76 to the 4 counties year to date for fiscal year 2019, compared to $244,022.63 for the same period in fiscal year 2018. Approximately 14.27% of those registering a vehicle during the fiscal year contributed to the Complete Streets Program, ranging from 10.39% in Douglas County to 15.33% in Clark County. This is an increase from the 13.9% who contributed during the same period in fiscal year 2018. The second item is an informational report regarding lands or interests in lands transferred, sold, exchanged, or leased under the Tahoe Basin Act program, as well as a quarterly report on the status of real property or interests in real property transferred under the Lake Tahoe Mitigation Program, which are required pursuant to NRS 321.5954 and Chapter 3 Basin Act. There was one transaction under the Lake Tahoe Mitigation Program, resulting in the sale of 196 square feet of restored soft land coverage, resulting in proceeds of $4,312 for the Nevada Land Bank.
Thank you. Do we have any questions? That was an information item. Seeing none. That concludes our agenda. This is the second time, item number 12, second time set aside for public comment. Anyone wishing to address the board on any item, please step forward, identify yourself for the record. Comments be limited to 3 minutes.
I just wanted to advise everyone that the June Board of Examiners meeting has been moved. It is now on June 13th at 10 a.m., same location.
Thank you. The June meeting, June 13th. Public comment. You can make a line right down the middle here, behind the middle chair. Right down the middle, right here. Seeing no one. Do we have anyone in Las Vegas for public comment? None. Do I have a motion to adjourn? We have a motion. Any discussion? All in favor? Aye. Opposed? The motion passes. Thank you all very much. We'll see you next month.
Thank you.